everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. It's a really lovely day that I'm filming this video, and I do apologise in advance if there's any background noise. Several of my neighbours are out in their gardens, understandably. I've got my windows open because it's a lovely sunny day, so apologies if there is any background noise, but we're just going to roll with it today. I thought I'd come on. I am channeling, also trying to keep myself cool, so apologies that I don't necessarily look my best. I am having a lazy day today. I swear I say that in every single video, but I'm having a lazy day today. No makeup, hair's not really done, I literally just pulled it back, and I'm just in a loose maxi dress, just trying to stay cool and stay comfortable. So yeah, we're just rolling with it. I thought I'd come on today and do a Whateverthon wrap-up video. For anybody that doesn't know what Whateverthon is, Whateverthon stands for Whatever You Want-a-thon, and it is a month-long readathon that was running throughout June, hosted by Maddie from Book Browsing blog. The idea is that you have a bingo board, and with each book that you read, it can fulfill up to 3 prompts on the board, and basically the idea is that you gain points through ticking off prompts, hitting your reading goal, and getting bingos. So I thought I'd run through my books. Sorry if this is a little bit samey to my June wrap up, but this I'm going to go into a lot more depth for what prompt each book fulfilled, and then how I got my bingos and everything like that. So if this isn't anything that you're interested in, or if you just think this is a bit samey to what I've already done, then apologies, click off this video. But I thought it would just be a little bit fun to have a singular video all about Whateverthon, how I found it, and what I read. So I was part of the Shelf Slayers team, and I actually went through my TBR and went through the bingo board. I did a much bigger one to what I actually put in my reading journal, and I kind of colour coded the books that I had, and then colour coded like, oh, this one could stand, you know, and some of the board spaces, some of the prompt spaces have like multiple colours on them, because there was books that would fulfil obviously the same prompt as other books. So that was what I did first, because I was like, I really wanted to try and map out some of my reading and be like a little bit savvy with what I was reading, and be like, okay, you know, these are my options going forward. I don't think I actually set a TBR as such. I had options, and I think I did a hopefuls, if memory serves me right. I did a hopefuls and options video, and things didn't turn out exactly how I planned completely, but I can say that I fulfilled the whole bingo board. I fulfilled all the prompts. I was able to do all of the kind of like non-bookish prompt challenges as well, and I had a really good time, and it was really nice having a bit more focus on my reading that wasn't too restrictive, because obviously the prompts were quite open to interpretation, and pretty much any book you read could kind of fulfill a prompt in some way. A little bit of juggling involved, but it was nice kind of having a little bit more of an idea of where it could go from kind of pre-planning. So if you are looking at doing a sort of similar readathon, or joining in Whateverthon in future months when it's hosted, it might be quite good to know kind of what your options are before you get into it. But for me, I found that was really helpful, because it didn't put too much pressure on me, and I could still have choice and still do an element of mood reading as well, because I could pick from the options. So I started off the month with Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, and this is by Christina Lauren. I really enjoyed this. I actually set my goal for 4 books. Now, part of Whateverthon is that you set your goal at how many books you anticipate reading, and honestly I set my goal for 4. The previous month I had read, so in May I had read 9 books, and I knew that I was really busy in June, and I didn't think I was going to be able to read as many, so I set my goal at 9, because at 4, because I had 4 kind of mandatory reads that I had to read for book clubs, real life book clubs, and online book clubs. So I kind of like, well, I have to read at least 4 books. So that's how I kind of started off, and in hindsight I ended up finishing, spoiler alert, ended up finishing the month having read 9 books. So I feel a little bit cheeky that I set my goal so achievably, but I really didn't think I was going to read this much, I hasten to add. So by reading this book, I completed the prompts recently hauled because this was a newish to me book. I borrowed this book, so as the Shelf Slayers team, we had one of our unique prompts was borrow a book. Daisy May had recently just read it and loved it and told me all about it, so I kind of pinched the idea of reading it from her, so that was my idea of borrowing. And it had the Anne of a and Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. So it was a really good start because it fulfilled 3 prompts. So I got 100 points for reading a book. I got 500 points for hitting a quarter of my goal, and then I also got 75 points on this one for fulfilling 3 prompts. I don't think this was massively diverse. I didn't take any points for diversity. On this one, there was extra points available if you read LGBTQIA+, or any other kind of diversity there was points for, but I didn't take any points for this because I didn't think this was massively diverse. So yeah, that was the first book that I read. I then moved on to, so that got me, to start with a massive 675 points, which was amazing. Like I say, in hindsight, maybe a little bit, maybe I set my goal too low, but I honestly didn't think I was going to get to this many books. I had a really busy month. I don't know how I did it. The next book I read was A Man Called Uva by Frederick Backman. If you want to hear my thoughts on these books, you can watch my wrap-up video. Again, it might be a little bit repetitive, but I go into more depth of what I thought of the books. This fulfilled the prompt for under 300 pages, and this was on a previous TBR. Now, when I logged my reading of this, since having read Josh and Hazel, I had actually joined in sprints and cozy reading time. So these were like non-bookish prompts, they were more kind of like activity prompts. So by finishing this book, I actually got 100 points for finishing a book, 1,000 points for reaching halfway through the goal, 50 points for fulfilling the prompts on the board, and then another 50 prompts for fulfilling 2 non-bookish prompts, and then I got 100 points for getting my first bingo, because that then finished off the top line, which you won't see reflected in that, but yeah. So that was a really, really good start, having read 2 books, and I had read this by the 7th. So by the 7th, I had read 2 books, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm reading a bit quicker than I anticipated. So that was a really good start. That got me, that book, 1,300 points, which got me to 1,975 points. The next book I finished was Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone by Diana Gabaldon, which was a little bit of a cheat because I had previously started this book, but it's 880 pages, and I read a good 300 pages of this in this month for the readathon. So I kind of thought, hang on a minute, I know it's maybe a bit unfair if you were looking at pages, but actually I finished it and I read a good chunk of it in this month. I feel like I'm going to do a whole video about this book because I've got lots of things to say about it. But this got me 100 points for finishing the book. This got me 1,500 points for hitting my 3/4 mark of my total goal. And it got me 75 bingo prompts as well, because it continued a series. It was blue on the cover, and it was also a 2021 release. So it was like a good one for me, and albeit I didn't read the whole thing this month, I read a good solid chunk of it, and sorry if this flouts the rules, but it's whatever-a-thon. So whatever you want, within reason, don't be a dick, is the tagline. And I didn't think this was too dickish because it's a massive book, and the chunk I read I still think was a really big achievement. So then I moved on to Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Oh, I didn't say, so that got me to 3,650 points finishing that one. Book Lovers by Emily Henry, this got me 100 points for finishing the book, 2,000 points for hitting my 4-book total, which I managed to hit by the 9th. So I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, this is a little bit dickish. So I am sorry, but I couldn't go back and change what I kind of had pledged initially. And I got 50 points for this one for prompts. This one was a poll pick on my Instagram, and it's also my favourite genre. Contemporary romance is probably one of my favourite genres. I'd never pick a favourite for anything, so it's one of my favourite genres, and that was a little bit of a cheat there. Lots of books could have fulfilled the favourite genre prompt that I read. So I got 2 prompts, and that got me, like I said, 100 points for finishing, 2,000 points for, oh, I think I've done that already, haven't I? Did I tell you I've done that already? I have. So that got me to 5,800 points. And then the points do slow down a little bit because I haven't got so many points coming in because I'm not doing the progress challenge anymore. So King's Cage was the next book that I read, and I got I think a bingo with reading King's Cage. I, by this point, had then also joined a 48-hour readathon whilst reading this. I ticked off also a guilt-free activity, which actually was sitting down and reading and taking part in the 48-hour readathon, so I kind of doubled up on the non-bookish prompts on that. And I read, I put it down as a hybrid genre and a less read genre. So I'm just trying to figure out what I don't know, actually. Maybe I've got some of the colours mixed up. So when I was calculating my points, I got 200 points because once you hit your number goal, every book you then complete doesn't get you 100 points, it gets you 200 points. I got 50 points, 50 points, 100 points and 50 points. So how did I get that, Sophie? Oh, there was some diversity in here. So I got 50 points. I also fulfilled a non-reading prompt, which was to join the 48-hour readathon, which got me 50 points. I got 100 points for a bingo, and I got 50 points for what, Sophie? I don't really know. But I did calculate my points correctly at the time. Anyway, this got me to 6,250. It's really hard to see it because some of the colours on that I've ticked off is quite small and some of the colours are quite similar. I do think that got me more than one. So 50 points was for hybrid genre because it was a fantasy or a YA fantasy. 50 points for a less read genre, so I think that's how I've done it, isn't it? 100 points for the bingo. I've just split the points up a little bit differently to what I've done for the others, but that does all add up, I promise. So that got me to 6,250 points. I then read Little Fires Everywhere. I read it on my Kindle, so I haven't got it to show, by Celeste Ng, and that obviously got me 200 points for finishing the book, 25 points because that fulfilled the prompt. What did that fulfill? Different format. That was a different format for normal. I don't normally read Kindle books. And then I also ticked off complete a personal goal, which was, I realised I'd completed a personal goal before that, which was to read both my book club books before the book club days, or all my book club books before the book club days. So I took a non-reading prompt points there as well. So 200 for the book, 25 for the non-reading prompt, and then 50 for the different format, which got me to 6,525 points. I then read Death Note Volume 3, which is actually volumes 5 and 6 in this bind up. This was the book that got me loads of bingos. So this I got obviously 200 points for finishing. I got 75 points because it got me host fave, a one-word title and a spooky book. So that fulfilled 3 prompts on the board, and it got me 3 bingos. This was a really, really good book to read at the time because I was worried about how little I had covered of the board and how many bingos I hadn't got. But this filled in like 3 rows, and this was like pivotal moment for me in the readathon. And like I say, that got me 3 bingos, so that was quite a good read, this one, and that got me to a cumulative total of 7,100 points. And then the last 2, this one was probably one of the hardest prompts. Sorcery of Thorns, read a book with the first letter and the last letter of the title being the same. I actually, on my kind of like, when I was planning, went through my whole TBR and found all of my books that actually had the first letter and last letter the same. There wasn't a lot on my whole shelf, and I didn't want to start another series. However, I think I've seen spoilers or rumours somewhere that this may be a second book might be coming in this world. I haven't done a lot of reading into that or a little bit any more investigation work, but I'm sure I saw something on Instagram. But one of my options was Graceling, because that would also be a 1-word title and it would fulfill multiple prompts as well. But it's the start of like another 4-book series. I was like, I don't need that right now. So Sorcery of Thorns was a good read for me. 200 points for completing the book, 25 points for fulfilling the prompt last letter first letter, but then that also got me a bingo, so I got 100 points for a bingo on this one, which got me to 7,425 points. I hope this is like interesting. This is probably like really boring. I'm probably sitting there like, this is a lot of numbers and a lot of words, it doesn't really mean anything to us. And then this was literally down to the wire. I finished this book on the last day of the month, and I was really worried that I wasn't going to finish all the prompts and stuff, but I did it. I did it, and I'm really pleased that I did. So this was... Now, again, I don't know if this is like being a little bit dickish, but I said this was a purple cover because if you actually look at both bits of the cover, yes, okay, there's a lot of blue, but actually there's a lot of purple as well on the cover. There are weapons on the cover, which was one of the Shelf Slayer prompts. And did this fulfill another prompt? No, it didn't. But like Death Note, this was a very pivotal book because it also got me 4 bingos. It got me my last 4 bingos. This 2 prompts that I fulfilled were like the 2 pivotal points in 2 bingos, 4 bingos rather. So obviously I got 200 points for finishing. I got 50 points. No, that must have been, yeah, purple on the cover and weapon on the cover. So I got 50 points for that and 400 points for my last 4 bingos. So I kind of feel like there wasn't a lot of progress initially with the bingos. I did get a bingo quite quickly, but not like then for really quite a long time. I feel like the way I ended up choosing the books and reading the books, it kind of happened really quite like in big bulks. So I actually ended the readathon on 8,075 points, which I think is actually pretty blooming good, I hasten to add. I don't know, I haven't got any concept of how good that is compared to somebody else, and obviously everyone is different and everyone's on a different reading journey and everyone is doing their own thing. But I really enjoyed taking part. I wish I could have got a bit more involved in some of the sprints, but unfortunately a lot of the time I wasn't free when the sprints were on, and I didn't engage as much on the Twitter page as I wanted to. But again, I work 9 to 5. Well, I don't. I work 8 till 5 every day. My weekends were really busy in June, hence me setting my reading goal low, because I didn't think I'd be able to get the opportunity to read as much, and so that meaning my engagement wasn't probably as much as I wanted it to be. But I really enjoyed the readathon, and I really enjoyed the idea of having like a bingo board and prompts and getting bingos. You're probably actually thinking, what is a bingo? By bingo I mean like a straight line, horizontal line, or diagonal line. Did I actually get a diagonal bingo? I don't know if I actually cast my diagonal bingos, you know. So maybe I technically got more and just didn't think of my diagonal bingos. But there we go. There we go. I've done myself a cropper there probably. Just thinking about it, did I do my diagonals? I can't remember. Anyway, I had a really, really good time. And I think what's really nice about the readathon is a little bit more low key. Like I said, the tagline's kind of like, don't be a dick. So just don't be too like out of order with what you end up doing, but still kind of make the readathon how you want it to be. And like I said, I really enjoyed having the little bit more structure to my reading, but having enough sort of flexibility that I could read a little bit more mood reading, and it wasn't like I had like a real strict, this is what I have to read. And I'm really glad that it kind of got down to the wire and that I was like, you know, I had a little bit of kind of like excitement, like, come on, I've got to read, and there was a little bit of like, am I gonna make it, it was like, that was really quite fun as well. So I had a really, really good time, and it was really fun doing a Whateverthon sort of spread in my journal, color coding everything, and yeah, I haven't finished the spread yet, but I'm gonna kind of, next to the points, I'm gonna write how many points I got, and then I'm gonna write a little bit about the book I read for the host favourite in this bit here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to future readathons to partake in, and really looking forward to the next round of Whateverthon whenever that comes round. So yeah, I hope this video wasn't too boring. I hope it wasn't too samey, and I hope it was a little bit interesting. If it's something that you are interested in joining in with again, then I would highly recommend following Maddie at Book Browsing Blog, and also Whateverthon, Whatever You Wantathon on Twitter. I'll try and leave as much information as I can down below in the information in the video description. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, a little bit different from me, and if I was a little bit more high tech, I would add like my running total as I was going, but I really can't do that. So I hope this wasn't too boring. I hope you enjoyed. Have you taken part in any readathons recently? If so, would love to hear about them down below in the comment section, or if this has inspired you to maybe do your own readathon for the next couple of months or something similar. I'd love to hear about it. But thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.